Hi there, this is Dr. DeLobo, and today we're going to talk a little bit about what makes a marriage very, very happy. And I was just about to leave the office. I've been here since before 10 a.m. It is 8:40 p.m. and I'm itching to go, but I've been compelled to do this video all day. I've treated men and women today, and there are some men who are not feeling completely happy, and some women who are trying to understand their husbands. And it is a little bit of a tricky balance to make a marriage work, right? I've been married for over 20 years, and it's a lot of work. It truly is a lot of work. But before I leave the office, I thought I'd share, 5 or 10 golden rules that can really help. And the reason why I'm sharing this is so that you can make babies, or at least be in the practice of making babies, whether you want to make babies or not. Start off, I had an amazing morning before I came to work because I was listening to DJ Alpha music, and he was just playing a lot of, very provocative music, and he got everyone's attention. And he knows that I help create mommies and daddies. If you go to elementsinharmonyacupuncture.com, you'll see, wow, this woman makes a lot of babies. It is almost the end of January. I'll be working on this year's Valentine's, New Year's, and a lot of it is going to be on libido. So one gentleman came in, his libido is an 8 out of 10, and his wife is at a 1. And one gentleman, he feels very distraught and sad and depressed and not very happy and resentful because he's not having a very happy marriage right now. And then one gentleman I was able to resolve that one because I was able to talk to his wife and convince her of the importance of why he needs to go on a particular trip. So when I'm treating men, it is really important that men feel like kings, that men feel like they are the kings of the castle. Now you may think, wow, that's very sexist. And keep in mind, I have 2 businesses. I do well for myself, but my husband needs to feel like he's the king of the castle. That's important. If you want your man to take care of you, whether you work or you don't work, he needs to feel like he's the king of the castle. You can be the queen. You totally can be the queen, and you can run the ship. And if you ask my husband, he'd tell you that I wear the pants in the family, and I prefer for him to not say that. I want him to feel like he does wear the pants in the family, because if something happens, I'm going to look to him for guidance and security and protecting us. And keep in mind, I train to protect myself. This is my 11th year training jiu-jitsu. I know a lot about what it takes, and I take knife fighting classes and shooting classes and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, if something happens, although I am trained to be able to protect myself and my family, and I've been in that situation where I behaved the way I should behave when a situation happens, but at the end of the day, if something really is bad, guess who I'm going to be turning to? My husband. He needs to feel like he can take care of us, and I want him to feel that way, and so I have to treat him like that. So when he needs to go somewhere to, have fun, I don't say allow him to, but he's welcome to. When I need to go away, he allows me to. So I can go, on a weekend trip or whatever, wherever I want, so that I can just breathe. This is important in a marriage, in my opinion, to be able to be apart for a few days so that you can be yourself and your identification is not completely, the spouse of someone. You got to be able to, rule the roost, guys. You got to, set the boundaries and say, hey, I'm taking care of this home. This is what I would like of you as my wife, but in what I need in return is this. And women, we have to honor that. Now, these are my opinions. I'm not a therapist, but I can tell you what works and what doesn't work. I see it what works in families, and I also see what works in my home. So if you need to clear this all with a therapist, talk with your spouse. But I can tell you, when I feel like I have freedom to do what I need to do to stay calm, my husband also feels like he has freedom. We give each other space, but then because we have that freedom, we are able to be together 100%. When we don't feel like we have the freedom to live our lives, it's very easy to feel resentful. It's very easy to feel imprisoned. It's very easy to feel like I don't belong here. I don't want to belong here. I don't want to be with this person. He makes me feel, or she makes me feel like I can't breathe. And that's sad because, that's not a happy marriage. Date night is extremely important. My husband and I have date night every week on the same day. And I can tell when I talk with people that you got to have date night, I can tell that they do date night because they'll say, oh yeah, date night's fun. Or like, oh, that's a great idea. But when you say certain things, I can tell, oh, yeah, we should do that. No, you have to do that. That is a must. If you want your lady to have a high libido, 8, 9, 10 on a scale of 1 to 10, you got to wine her and dine her. You got to do the same things you did to get her. So I'm a huge advocate for men having sex 2 to 4 times a week. So how do you have sex at least once a week, gentlemen? You got to give her attention. I said this to one gentleman today. He's in finance. I got to talk to him in his language. If you give 1 hour of your time with her, that will buy you 5 to 7 days of happiness. Ideally, it would be like 3 hours, like a 3 to 5 hour date. You're out 4, 5, 6 p.m. or whatever, even 7 p.m. and you go hang out till 10, 11, 12 o'clock. You spend at least an hour, if not 3 to 5 hours with her once a week. That will buy you a lot of happiness. When she's happy, she's horny. So the recipe I have to help people get pregnant is healthy, happy, horny. When you are present, even for an hour, gentlemen, where you're not on your phone, where you're not doing this, talking to her like this, whether I have 2 phones, this is my personal phone and this is my work phone. If you're not like this, because my husband will do that, I'll say, dude, put your phone down, stare at me right here. I'm going to vomit words for 10 minutes. Do not, please don't say anything. I'm just going to say some words. Pretend like you're listening to me. Just stare at me right here. And I'm going to time it for 10 minutes. And here's the thing. I don't want your advice. Sometimes women just want to talk. If not often, we just want to vomit words, but we don't want advice. Because really men are not designed to listen to us. So when we're just blabber away for 10 minutes, and you're done. And if you want his advice, that means you have to take his advice. If you don't want his advice, say, I don't want your advice in the beginning. So this is a lot, and I have my sources, but I'd rather share this all, one-on-one. But I've treated a lot of men today, and there's some conflict and resistance between men and women understanding each other. When we want to make babies, we got to be happy. A baby is not going to make your life easier. A baby is never going to make your life easier. If anything, it's going to make your life harder. So please don't have a baby to make your marriage easier or to make your marriage happier or to fill a void, because that's a one-way path to divorce. And I understand you want to have a baby, but have a baby for the right reasons. It's important that we listen to our men, ladies, and give them their needs. And gentlemen, there's a way that you can behave so that you can have sex 2 or more times a week. I strongly recommend that you see a therapist, but I also like to share what works on my end and some of the neuroscience stuff I've been studying on my own so that my marriage has been working. 2002 to 2009, my marriage was like everyone else's. And we were close to getting a divorce almost every year. It was very hard, very conflicting, a lot of resistance between the two of us. And when you throw a baby in the mix, we got married 2002. We had our first baby in 2004. There were a lot of difficult times. You're not on the same page. There are wrong expectations, too high of expectations that the mom has usually of the dad, that the wife has of the... I'm talking about heterosexual relationships here. If you take some of the advice that I share with you in the office, I'm almost certain it'll work perfectly. Because I've given that advice before, and it works perfectly. It's important that you guys see therapists, do all that. Like I said, I'm not a therapist. But there are some tried and true things that I share here. And mommy, I'm saying mommy because we're making babies. The woman is very happy. She's getting her needs met. And the man, he's happy. Men are very simple. And one of the basic needs is sex. And you do that for him. And he's going to be very happy. But the trick is, how do you get her? Now, sometimes I hear she really wants it. He does not. That's another discussion, which I won't share here. One thing before I let you go is there's this concept of fairness. I don't like that word. Women, we like that word. But men, it's a very elusive term, and it's not usually understood correctly between both parties. So the term I like to use is, how can you both be satisfied? What satisfies me is not necessarily what satisfies my husband. So hopefully you have a good enough relationship where you both can talk about what satisfies you. I promise you, gentlemen, if you ask your lady, what can I do to satisfy you? And I'm not just talking about in bed. I'm talking about, what can I satisfy you in life? Can I bring food home instead of you cooking? Can I help with the dishes? What can I do to satisfy you today? And ladies, name one thing. Don't overwhelm them with a bunch of things. What can he do to satisfy you today? Maybe park a little more to the left so that your car can fit in the driveway. That's satisfied. Maybe hanging the towel that you step on whatever thing so that the towel doesn't stay dry. I mean, these are the things that drive us crazy, right? Getting the boxers from the floor into the hamper, whatever it is that can satisfy you, ladies, name it. But gentlemen, you got to ask, what can I do to satisfy you? And ladies, try to stick on topic, stay on topic. And we have a saying in jiu-jitsu, how do you get out of side control? Don't get into side control. Try your best to stay calm so that you don't get into an altercation with your spouse. Like, do what you got to do to stay calm. For me, I do things outside the home before I get home, so I'm not nitpicking. So I'm not, claws come out. So that may mean that I go, if I'm here all day, going home, straight home to cook and clean and do all that after I just worked, probably will set me off and may not make me feel happy. So there are things I do to make myself feel calmer before I walk into the house. So we'll talk about all those things. I strongly recommend that you join Dr. DeLopo's Happy Club because you're already paying for it. So you're paying $100, but the $100, this one comes out every month. You can cancel anytime. We have a 10-minute private consultation in my office. We get to talk. I get to listen to you, and we get to share some laughs, and you get free Qigong, and you get my personal development, stuff. So I know I wasn't completely on topic with just one thing, but I just want to share with you guys. I heard you guys, gentlemen, I heard you today, and I did my best to share with you some information that may make your marriage happier. And women, I shared with you some information that hopefully will help you understand your man a little more, even 10% better, so that your marriage can be happy, you can be healthy, and you can be horny to make a baby. All right, take care.